Hello, everyone. 330 to go here. As you guys are always following Matt McGall with the High School Football Show, bringing you another edition of our weekly game of the week. And this week, we've got St. Ignatius traveling down to take on Walsh. And right now, we are happy to be joined on the show with Coach Nick Alexander. Coach, how are you feeling today?
Feeling great. I really appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. So, Coach, coming off a very big win against St. Vincent St. Mary. Went out there, defense did their job, held up the eggshell. Offense got it going. A little bit of a monsoon that night, so I think everybody got to learn about protective weather gear because I know I was there and covered. What did you learn about your team coming off that game, Coach?
Yeah, it was a huge one for us to come out at home and be ready to play, and I think that what we really have been focusing on is complementary football and doing it in all three phases. And I think by pitching a shutout, by scoring a bunch of points on offense, and then by having a blocked punt and a kickoff return for a touchdown, we were able to showcase our complementary football and the practice that we put into it.
It was definitely all three phases, Coach, right from like you said, the opening kickoff. I was actually standing back there, caught the whole return. It's always nice when special teams can add some points on the scoreboard. It makes the offense feel a little good. And knowing you and your quarterback guru-ness, because that's where your specialty is, as I dig into these interviews that I get to have the opportunity with you guys, I look back at your history of where you were as a coach and everywhere you've been. What have you learned through those years that you really see starting to take shape and form with this team this year?
Yeah, it's a great question. So really everything from my past has kind of formed me to who I am today, and starting off at St. Edward High School, having just elite quarterbacks, being able to coach Ryan Fallon and Kyle Shermer, Pat Shermer's son, and just the way that they worked at it. And then heading over to Menor and seeing they've had multiple Mr. Ohio's at quarterback, most recently Mitchell Trubisky. But being able to see how they developed the quarterback from Ness Janiak, who's a legendary quarterback coach at Menor, was there forever. He recently retired, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. But just the way that he developed and the behind the scenes of what it takes to going in to coach the position. And then being at John Carroll and really the John Carroll part of it was really the relationship part, where this is a D3, it was D3 football, and these kids were paying to go to school, and they've just loved the game. And the relationships is what I take away from the quarterback room that I had at John Carroll. Text those guys all the time. We're in a group chat, and it's awesome. And all of that has kind of led me to being here. And we are a quarterback-driven system. Our quarterback has reads on every play, and all of those things have kind of led me to this moment.
Well, there's no doubt Moten, your quarterback, is having a phenomenal year. I mean, on the ground, in the air, doing all that. Where you thought you would be in week one to where you are heading into this game this week with St. Ignatius, and we'll get to that in a moment. How much of a difference has this team grown up, or are they exactly where you kind of had? Because, Coach, you're a visionary. When you took this program over, you knew where you were at, and to see where you're at this point, the talk over Summit County is what's going on out there at Walsh. But knowing your game plan, are you right on track, or is your team surprising you to where they're at by week 4?
Yeah, I think we always have a ton of room to grow, and I think that the biggest surprise for me so far, and it shouldn't be a surprise that going in year 6, has been the play off the offensive line, and those guys, because anytime you lose anybody from the offensive line, just getting 5 guys to come together and be selfless is always a tough task, and Coach Turner does a great job with them. As far as the quarterback goes, I love where Keller Moten is at with his leadership at this point of the year. Honestly, he surprised me in his growth in that on the field. It's not what happens sometimes to senior quarterbacks is they get into this, I need these numbers because these colleges are putting pressure on me as far as let's watch your first 3 or watch your first 4 games and see where we're at. But Keller's been a team first guy, and that's been phenomenal to see. The growth of our defense from week to week, the adjustments and some guys playing over there for their first time. That's really where we've grown up, is defensively, and understanding our checks and our communication back there has been great. And then another, I don't know if I'd call it a surprise because they did it all summer, but an eye-opening for them, I think, is the 3-headed monster at running back. I think the ability to get the ball to other guys. And Weaver was coming off of an ankle, so it was like a slow progression for him. He's still our guy, but to have the ability to have Carlos Smith and Marty Tobin come in and be productive, whether it's in pass pro or running the football, has been awesome.
The running game definitely certainly has come. I hear a lot too of you're talking about the selflessness out there at Walsh. And I think that stems directly a lot from you, because having the opportunity to be at a few games, what gets me the most, coach, is at the end of the game when the whole team's there, you're talking about that win. I don't know what you say, but that whole team collectively at one just dog piles and they're driven behind you. And I think that's a lot that people don't understand, that the conductor of the train, the ship, whatever, that's a huge centerpiece. And I think that starts at the top with you down, but getting that kind of play out of Moten and him taking that leadership, I definitely probably leaves you a little bit, because it's nice to have a coach on the field per se. So looking at all that, knowing where you're at, you're feeling good. Now we've got Ignatius coming in. And I don't know if maybe, when's the last time Walsh got them in a victory?
1982.
The only reason I asked that is because you've already put it out there, and I love that you just knew that spot on, because that's the message this week. What other message are you telling them about St. Ignatius as you prepare for a big night with, Mike Vrabel getting retired? The atmosphere is going to be electric, but I think a lot of people are excited to see what goes on between the hash marks. So what are you getting ready for this week with St. Ignatius as they come to town?
Yeah, so St. Ignatius is an unbelievable football team. The stigma behind their record is just that. I think at the end of the day, they ended up they're 1-2, but they played Avon, who's a perennial powerhouse Division II program, and they played Mentor, who is fully back. And that was a great game. Both of those were great games. So we know that we are in for one on Friday. We know that we're going to get their best shot. We know that they have an enormous offensive line, and that's kind of, their staple over there right now is their offensive line, a Big Ten running back and another running back in number 7 that is honestly just as talented, So we know that it always will be about us, and I think that the distractions throughout the week, I'm just spinning that as it's just a great opportunity for more people to come see you play, and I think we're excited to have Mike Vrabel back. Don't get me wrong. And from coach's hat off, that's very cool to have an NFL Coach of the Year, Super Bowl winner, be back, lead us out, be on our sideline. That's going to be awesome for the kids, a night that they'll never forget. But at the end of the day, there's a football game to be played, and my job is to get the guys ready for that.
See, I like that. Enjoy it, take it in, but understand there's a mission and there's exactly where we're heading. With that being said, what's separating Walsh right now around Summit County? What is it? Why? Because people have the opportunity to choose to come there. Okay, come be a part of that. Come be a part of that selflessness. Coach, if you had to put in perspective, what's separating you guys right now that you would tell people?
Yeah, so culture is a word that gets thrown around too much, but until you come see it and you're a part of it and you see it on the sidelines, the true selflessness of the culture that's been instilled in these guys from when they came in as freshmen to now being seniors, and then what they're doing to pass it down, they truly play for one another, and there's a Jesuit term, cura personalis, care for the whole person. I think the relationships that we have created here between all players and all coaches and all staff and all administration is truly second to none. I think at the end of the day, you're going to come here and get a world-class education, and you're going to have the opportunity to play in stages like Friday night in front of huge crowds in big games. And it's all about what can I do for the team, and I think in today's culture, in today's society, it's all me. Everything is at your fingertips. Everything's on Twitter, Instagram. How many likes and how many things can I get? At the end of the day, the thing that separates us is we care most about being 1-0 at the end of each week.
Coach, wow. You hit that one out of the park there. I like that. I mean, because that's exactly it. And I mean, I can speak for myself, and I know that, I have a kid that's there and definitely a part of that. And that's the reason why Leaving us with this, what do you want to tell Walsh Jesuit Nation? Because I know the big thing is let's get them out there. Let's come see it, be a part of it. Let's hear those cowbells. We love hearing those because that means we're moving up and down the field. Leaving us with this, Coach, what do you want to tell the Walsh Jesuit faithful before I let you go?
Yeah, so Warrior Nation, at the end of the day, we understand that there's 1,500 boys at Ignatius, or 1,450, whatever it is, and we have our 440 that are ready to come out and swing, and I think that they've earned the right to play in front of a big crowd, and we want more than ever to pack our stands. We know Ignatius is going to show up. We know that visiting side is going to be full of potentially just students to start, and then the fence is going to start lining up. But please show up, wear maroon and gold, be loud, and you'll be in for a show.
Well, Coach, we wish you guys nothing but the best. Always a friend of the program. Happy to have you on, second year in a row. And hopefully we get to talk to you again as you work your way into the playoffs later on as the season goes. So, Coach, thank you so much for joining us here on the show today.
Yeah, thank you. I'm a big fan of Through Throw to Go. I watch all the interviews, and I appreciate all your coverage. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Coach. Have a great day.
You as well.